Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Hello, all you happy people.
Hi, LeRon.
What's good?
How's the snacks? What are you drinking? Are you drinking water out of a teacup?
Water out of a Yeti, out of a Yeti tumbler mug.
Okay, fancy pants.
I'm drinking water out of my Yeti mug with my pinky out.
When in doubt, pinky out.
Look, yo, I can be hardcore about it. I can double fist this bitch.
Oh my gosh. Don't need to brag now.
I know.
Also joining us, as always, is Stephanie Klimov. Hello, Stephanie.
Cheers. I'm drinking straight from the can.
Yeah, straight from the can. Thank you.
Yetis.
Fancy.
I know to get Stephanie for Christmas now.
Actually, very good.
And that voice is our very special guest. Hold on. I get your title wrong every time. I'm gonna get it right this time.
So Ed calls me like some vegan something, but I'm not like vegan.
Look,
but
we
titles.
We don't identify, like, we don't just define you just by your veganism, Greysun.
Yeah,
here.
I don't use titles. I'm not trying to be these people. I sometimes eat meat, sometimes I eat broccoli. It doesn't define who I am.
So I'm not gonna use a fancy Ed title. Okay, you are the lead guides editor at GameRant. Greysun Morales.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Always happy to be on the show.
Saving the show tonight.
H2O and my,
Not
daily
Yeti.
water thing.
His normal person water bottle, LeRon.
Yeah. That has a typo on it.
Hey, I have a normal water bottle too that has actual water in it.
So I got this from Amazon, and it has every hour or every 2 hours it has like a motivational thing. So it's like drink more, no excuses, almost there. But the last one says you make it, which I don't really.
You make it.
I think it's supposed to say you made it. So yeah.
Or maybe.
Someone got tired.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
So this could be from.
No, it's one of those. It's one of those rare bottles where like they fixed the second run prints. Like what was that Resident Evil 3DS game where they spelled Revelations wrong?
Revelation.
Yeah.
Maybe I can put this on eBay and make a few bucks.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Slightly used, rare water bottle.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody good? Everybody living the life?
Just fabulous. My son poked a kid in the eye in karate class the other day.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
like
dealing with that.
Like that scene it's like that scene in The Waterboy where he's like, they tell him to get aggressive and he pokes him in the eye. He's like, Captain Insano shows no moisey. So, great scene. Terrible impression, but great scene. So, yeah, my kid threw one of her water bottles at my son tonight, so that was cool.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I hope it wasn't as big as this one.
Oh no, it's big. It's like it. So, okay, short story here. My daughter has a princess backpack, a Disney princess backpack. So my mom thought it would be cute to buy her matching water bottles, but they are like adult water bottles that like are metal and keep things cold, right? Like not a fancy Yeti, LeRon, just a normal, like probably from Sam's Club or Target or something. And so my daughter likes to drink out of them because it makes her feel like an adult. But then late at night when she gets tired, she starts acting up. And tonight she decided to try to throw one of them at my son. And I had cat-like reflexes and went.
I was about to
Stop.
I was about to say, did you make the like? Who did the Father's Day commercial where it was all like dad saves?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember. Is it insurance or something or Geico? No, not Geico.
I think it is. I think
Geico.
I think it was an insurance. It wasn't Geico, but I think it was an insurance company though. But man, like some of those dad saves were freaking crazy.
Yeah. Your daughter's got one hell of an arm. Maybe she'll do well in sports. Because wasn't she the one that also chucked your Switch in the past?
And broke it. She threw it across the room.
She just loves to throw things.
No, I was trying to like show her like Yoshi's Crafted World, and she was enjoying herself, like running back and forth and jumping and like, oh, look at the dinosaur, he jumps, whatever. And then just literally out of nowhere, she's like, whoosh,
a little too excited.
and it went all the way across the room. And now my case has a crack in it.
When I was playing Yoshi's Crafted World, I don't.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just kidding.
Greysun got upset at Yoshi's Crafted World.
I was about to say, I did chuck my Switch too if I was playing Yoshi's Crafted World.
So
I have like Yoshi is the most annoying character in Mario Land for me.
Jeez.
He makes way too much noise.
They all have like one noise that they each make.
No. Come on. What's the noise? Like, okay, is especially in Yoshi's Island. When something hits him and he loses track of the baby, that noise.
Oh yeah, that is annoying.
It just means you're not good enough, LeRon. You know, if you're good enough at that game, you'll never hear the baby cry. Okay.
No, it's not the baby. It's not the baby crying noise. It's the noise he makes. It's like a.
LeRon, didn't you swear in the chat that you were not going to complain about Nintendo tonight?
I haven't said anything about Nintendo.
We're
I haven't said
7 minutes in.
I haven't said anything about Nintendo.
You just complained about the crying baby in Yoshi's Island.
That's not Nintendo.
It is Nintendo.
That's Yoshi's Island.
Which Nintendo made.
Okay, just because they made the game. I didn't say Nintendo made a bad game because I love Yoshi's Island. I'm just saying Yoshi's like the most annoying character.
I would love to do a feature on the ranking of every Mario character and their annoyingness.
No, let's collab on that.
I just want to read the message in our host group chat from LeRon right now.
Go ahead, read it. Go ahead. You don't even have to read it. I will say it.
Can we please not mention Nintendo tomorrow night? This was yesterday, obviously. I'm tired of playing the villain. It's coming. I guarantee you, it's coming. Somebody's hot topic tonight is gonna swerve terribly into Nintendo land. I know it. I mean, I'm gonna talk about Metroid tonight because I feel like it's a dumb.
Dude. Okay, that's not bad.
No, I'm making fun of me. I'm dumb. This is why I hate Metroidvanias. They make me feel like a dumb.
Oh, I feel like our topics might go well together, Corey. This would be great.
Great. But I do want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy also.
Yes, please.
Because I have played it on 2 different systems, and there is definitely a superior system to play that on. So, I've played it. I've actually played it on 3 systems because the Switch has the cloud demo thing. So, yeah.
You know what? Maybe I'll try that.
Yeah. No, do not try the cloud demo.
You said don't?
No, do not.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll just put my Switch back on the dock.
Yeah, you put it right back there on that dock and let it charge up for your 4-day road trip vacation thing that you're not going to play it on. Oh. Man,
so now we know. So now we know which version Corey does not recommend for players.
There's actually we'll get there, but I don't know. So before I do the housekeeping, do we need to do the housekeeping? Do you think we need to do it? Because there's been some feedback that we shouldn't because it just delays the show. Some people say
more than
maybe
we already delay the show,
or maybe like the way that Nintendo Palblock does it is that Jacob recorded a nice little like pre thing that's like 10 seconds long.
Thanks for the idea because I feel like housekeeping goes. I feel like housekeeping. Actually, I blurt through housekeeping so fast on Crossroads that I've time stamped it. It literally only takes like 1 minute and 10 seconds.
1 minute and 10 seconds. Jeez, what are you doing?
Well, I talk. Well, number one, hold on.
All right.
Okay.
Well, while you look that up, this is the Boss Rush Podcast, a flagship show of the Boss Rush Network, where each and every week we get together with our friends from around the internet to talk about everything we love about games, movies, what we played, what we watched, and more. You can catch the Boss Rush Podcast every Wednesday night live on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Network or on YouTube and podcast services every Monday morning. You can follow us on social media at Boss Rush Network. Join our Discord or Facebook group and find all of our shows and content on bossrush.net. Bam.
All right. This is Crossroads, PlayStation podcast of Boss Rush Games. Every week we come together, bring you the latest news, rumors, games, and general discussion in the world of PlayStation. Crossroads airs live on twitch.tv, XS803, Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't join us during the live show, Crossroads can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast locations. And if you like the show, please consider subscribing to the podcast or giving us a follow on Twitch. You can also catch the recap of tonight's show the following Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on youtube.com/XS803 or early Thursday mornings at youtube.com/BossRushNetwork. If you want to see previous episodes of the show, they can all be found on our host site, bossrush.net.
You know, LeRon, what would be a great job for you?
What's that?
Be that person that lists off all the side effects at the end of a drug commercial.
I've almost got it committed to memory now. Like I've only been doing it for almost 60 episodes now.
Seriously, that was pretty good. But seriously though, like I don't know, Corey. Obviously I'm not a huge podcast expert, but I don't know what you guys think. You know, Greysun and you, LeRon. Is housekeeping? Well, now that we're talking about housekeeping, we're kind of delaying the whole entire show talking about it. But
okay, this is the show. This is what they signed up for.
Well, here's my. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, here's the thing. I've been doing housekeeping at the front of our shows for 7 years. Okay. Why is this just now coming up from the audience? It's like, well, maybe is it because we've gotten bigger over the years? Like
I think it's because they've heard it enough that they're just tired of it, which is not bad. But what people fail to understand is kind of why TV shows like do like dumb stuff. Like for example, like you're watching a sci-fi show and all sci-fi nerds know that freaking black hole is called a singularity, and you know in scientific terms, stuff like that. But there's always a line in every sci-fi movie that has something to do with a black hole where someone's like, oh, the singularity is happening, and then there's some dumbass in the cast is a black hole, it's like that. Same thing. I think same thing applies for the most part. We do the housekeeping not for the people who have been there, for the new people we might get, because they need to know that this is an apparatus. And even though we might say it's episode 197,625 of a show, they might be thinking this is the very first episode of the show. Kind of like how George Lucas did episode 4 for Star Wars when it should have been goddamn episode 1.
Yeah, like even though like for every single episode you guys do, there's always gonna be a chance to have at least one new listener. So I think it's always nice to have that in there, because otherwise they come in, they're like, oh, I don't know who these people are, or what's going on, and how can I find more? So I think
that was my thought. I mean, that's always been my thought, but for some reason I've been overthinking it lately.
No, don't overthink. Apologies to the people who think that it's excessive and stuff like that, but there's methods to the madness. Like you will learn this stuff when you start podcasting and streaming and all this other stuff that we do on a regular here at Boss Rush.
That's fair. Okay, well, I went through it. You're welcome.
They can always fast forward. If they want to.
Fast forward.
Exactly. Like
a quick little 15-second button on your phone, and
Corey and I aren't chumps either. We timestamp these. We timestamp this stuff now, so you can you can immediately skip.
Yeah. Speaking of timestamps, we're gonna talk about what we've been doing with our lives, playing, watching, doing, whatever you feel like talking about. Greysun, you're our guest, so you get to go first. What have you been playing or doing? Whatever. Some people don't play things. Sometimes it's fine.
Yeah, I don't play video games at all. Don't have that.
That must be really hard for your job. What do you just go back on old Prima guides and just read them and be like, oh, that sounds good. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, I go to GameFAQs and just look up people's stuff. No, I think the main thing I wanted to talk about today was an indie game called Before Your Eyes because I just played it today and finished it in one sitting. Oh my god, this game is so good. How do I can't talk. It's so hard to talk about without like spoiling stuff. But yeah, this is the game that I've been seeing a lot on Twitter from like my industry friends. Like, oh my god, everyone needs to play this game, like this indie game, a game of the year from a lot of friends and stuff. And I'm like, wow, this game must be really good. I definitely got to check it out because I'm a big indie fan too. I just haven't had it. There's been a lot of games on my plate the past few months. I've been trying to like get through these things before starting new stuff. But since this is like an hour or two long, I was like, okay, let me just try it out, and I finished it. But yeah, I got like a review code. Well, not a review code, but just a code to try it out today. And it's a PC game, an indie game, and it's like I would compare it to like What Remains of Edith Finch or Lawrence, a very just story focused game, no combat. You're not really moving around or anything. You're kind of just watching these scenes unfold before you, and you're listening to people talk and listening to conversations and sort of like using your mouse to interact with things around you in that sense. It's definitely not as like interactive as like a game like Life is Strange. You're not like clicking on a bunch of things. It's sort of like a story that's presented to you and you just follow along with it. But the main hook behind this game, and the reason why it's only on PC right now, is that the game watches you on camera the entire time. But,
creepy.
And I don't want to go into the story too much, the specifics, but there are times during scenes that you're watching where an icon will appear, and if you blink, the game will cut forward in time. And this could be a scene that's like 5 seconds into the future. It could be something that's 20 minutes into the future. It could be like you can skip forward to like 1 year into this person's story. And oh my, it's just like a really very emotional, very compelling narrative. And like I cried like a baby, especially at the end. There are just like some things that go on that are just, you know, very touching and like heartfelt and stuff like that. But what's really cool is like you'll be like watching a scene or something and your character is speaking to someone and the character is saying some really heartfelt emotional stuff and the icon will pop up on the screen. And that's when that pops up, I'm like, okay, I can't blink because I really want to see what this person has to continue saying. But if you blink, you're going to miss out, and it goes to the next scene immediately. And it got frustrating sometimes because I wanted to like see what they wanted to say so bad. And I feel like when I started blinking more, I would start doing it even more. You know, if that makes sense? Like, it would like bother me. I'm like, oh, I can't keep them open anymore. And it's like I could keep them open for the scenes that weren't even that interesting, but the ones I wanted to listen to, I blinked and it would like skip forward to the next thing.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can you like spoof it? Can you like cover the camera?
I didn't try. I just kind of like played it. You know, I wanted to like have the full experience, so I didn't like try to cheat it or anything. I'm sure you can, because you know, if you're not, or you can like maybe cover your eyes or something. But it was crazy because it pretty much worked flawlessly the entire time. There were some moments where like I think I blinked and it didn't really count. It kind of needs like a full blink from you, so you can kind of get away with it if you like maybe squint your eyes or something. But no, it's like it's meant to just like the story. The story has the blinking thing like as it's part of the narrative, so it's not just like a gameplay mechanic. I want to see if I can like talk about the beginning of it, because basically you start off the game as this you're playing as this guy who it's the first few minutes, so it's not really spoiler, but he died. This character has died, and you're on this boat with someone who has taken your soul, and he's trying to figure out your life story to see if you're worth like. Basically, see if you're worth like going to like a higher place, essentially like a heaven equivalent. So he's like, okay, let's go back in time and see who you are and what you've done and why and what your story is. So you can see like if you're worthy for, you know, going to this higher place after death. You just see this person's story unfold and what they went through and stuff and how they died and their family issues and things like that. And it's just like, it's really good. Like, definitely one of my favorite games this year now, like top 5 for sure. What I want to say is my game of the year, but it's like it's one of the best indie games I played. And I don't think I've ever played an indie game. Like Florence is the game that made me cry too, but this game, like the ending specifically, is very like very emotional. So I totally recommend it. It's only on Steam right now, but you can play it on Mac too, because I have a shitty like MacBook Air, and this game ran fine on the lowest. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yay!
Stephanie, you can play it.
Yay!
I think it's like $10 too. So yeah, totally recommend it. It's so good, really good.
Sounds like it's right up my alley. And at first, the camera thing creeped me out, but now I think that's a pretty cool game mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like get some tape and like tape my eyes up.
Yeah. I was looking up reviews to seeing what people thought of it, and I saw a lot of people criticize the camera thing, mostly because I guess there was like issues with it not working properly, technical errors. I didn't have any issues with it. It worked like I said, like flawlessly. But yeah. Highly recommend. And besides that, I don't really want to talk too much about the other games I'm playing. I finished Kenna, Bridge of Spirits the other day. I've been working on that game for like since it came out, like slowly taking my time. That game is really hard. Like there are some bosses that, especially the final boss. Oh my god, the final boss has like the worst checkpointing because it's like the whole boss fight is probably like almost 10 minutes long, and if you lose at the end of it, you have to start the entire sequence over, and it's like one of those things that's very annoying where you have like a platforming section, you have to fight like smaller enemies and then go back to the boss fight, and it's a mess. And by the time I finished that game, I was like, I was happy with it. It's a great game, but I don't think it's like one of my game of the year contenders or anything like that. It's fine. Like a lot of people said it feels like a PS2 game, and that's like what I walked away feeling like.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it just, and the people who made that game, they worked on that Majora's Mask fan film. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That really
that awesome one about Skull Kid.
Yeah, so like when Kenna came out, like a lot of reviews were like, "Oh, this game is so beautiful," and like, and it's true. Like the cutscenes are very pretty. Like it looks like a Disney film or something. But for some reason, for me, like the cutscenes and the gameplay felt very disconnected. So I couldn't tell you anything that happened in that story. I had no clue what was going on. I don't know I couldn't tell you anything. So that kind of like dampened the experience for me. I don't really know why it happened or, what caused it. But yeah, that game is, I still recommend it. It's pretty good. But yeah, those are my other issues with that. Yeah, and besides that, I've been playing like a little bit of Genshin Impact. I've been playing Pikmin Bloom, Smash Brothers, Monster Hunter, just going back to those. Yeah. What about you guys?
Nice. Stephanie, you want to get this Guardians talk out of the way? Because it's like,
yeah. Well, yeah. I'll just like say my quick other bit. So, I downloaded Alien Fireteam Elite because I know Lasby wants to play. So I'm gonna do it. I will heavily disappoint him with my horrible shooter skills, but I'm excited to play it. And I'm finally starting to watch Squid Game. I know I'm so late to that show, but I'm kind of that a person who I don't want to watch what's so hot and popular right now. Like, nope, I'm not gonna fall for that.
I have that same problem.
It like actually works against me, and I like boycotted it just for that simple reason. But I finally just caved and I decided to watch it, and I forgot that it's actually legitimately like a Korean show, so I kind of get the little Korean like the Asian like acting humor and but beyond that, I'm like, damn, this is so good.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. What I want to talk about is Guardians of the Galaxy, which I pre-ordered through Target, the Cosmic Deluxe Edition. I did not get it till November 1st. I was so pissed.
Ooh,
but
that's the worst.
I played it on my PS4, and I don't know where to begin, Corey. Where do you want to begin?
So, okay, so I'm going to preface this conversation by saying I played it on the Switch Cloud version, the Xbox Series S, and the Xbox Series X. I have to tell you that, okay, so I'll start with the Switch version because I played it for about a half hour and I was like, I can't do this. I wanted to just have an impression of it. It's so laggy. It's the worst play to play it. Please do not play it on Switch. I'm sorry. Just don't play it on Switch.
And that was when you had like really good internet connection and everything.
Yeah. And it's just and like, to be fair, like I played Control and I played Hitman through the cloud, and they ran pretty good until they didn't, right? Like, I mean, until your internet hicks up and then it's like, oh, what do I do? But man, Guardians is just not. It's not great. It's not great on Switch. That said, I downloaded it on Xbox Series X and S because I use my S to record and stream stuff, and I just put my X in the living room because it looks nicer and, well, you know. Guardians of the Galaxy is the first game on between the Xbox Series S and Series X that I notice a significant performance difference. Significant.
What?
It is locked at 30 on the S at 1080p.
Woo.
Which is about what it runs on the Xbox One X. So, yeah, so I was like, okay, the Xbox Series S is just like obviously like a less powerful Series X. It's going to do the same things, just at lower resolution. Maybe the frame rate doesn't hit 120, but it'll be 60, right? No performance mode on this game on the Series S whatsoever. And let me tell you, it does not run great at 30. I even plugged my controller into the box to see if it was like, you know, what is it? It just felt really unresponsive, and maybe that's because I've been playing Destiny and Halo at 60 and 120 frames a second, right? Like playing all these games at 60 frames. Wow, these are great. Like,
is it like dropping? Is it like dropping frames during like combat and stuff?
It feels like it's dropping frames, and it feels really unresponsive. And then I was like, I can't play this on Series S. Like, maybe I'm spoiled. I got to try this on the Series X. Series X, super responsive, 60 frames. There's a performance and a quality mode. The performance mode runs at 60 frames, locked at 1440p. Really beautiful, really nice. The quality mode is 4K. I think it runs at like 40 frames or something. It's not 60, but it's more than 30, somewhere in there.
Wow.
So, but I played through that opening area, Chapter 1, where you're like trying to capture the llama. Sorry, that's a spoiler. Sorry. First hour of the game. The package is the llama.
Not playing it anymore.
And I really like it. I did not know it was a straight up action RPG, like with like skill points and trees and upgrading your guys and dialogue choices. Now I don't know how much those dialogue choices really matter, right? I mean, it's probably not much. But I really like it. I like the banter. I like the characters. I think they're distinct enough from the movies, because I think that's the problem that everybody had with the Avengers, was like it just felt like a dollar store version of them.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
I like it. I think I don't know, a lot of people have problem with the voice actor for Star-Lord. I haven't hit that part yet where I'm like annoyed by him, but I feel like he's definitely the weakest of the main characters so far in terms of acting. There's some pretty good jokes in there. I really like how the story is kind of different from the movies. Star-Lord and Rocket and Groot are a team before they pick up Drax and Gamora, so that's cool. I really like it. It's very beautiful in 1440p, 4K, both. It's great. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I might have to get a copy of that on my Series X, because on the PS4, like, it just was so obvious and dismal. And I'm like kind of the layman when it comes to computer terms. Like, I don't know what frames per second something p, but I can visually see that things are just all janky and all over the place.
Yeah. Something ain't right here.
Especially at the end of the fight, like, Corey, I don't know if you noticed when you're on the Series S, but like when the the goo splatters everywhere, just like
it runs at like 10 frames a second. Like it's
like why does it pick that time to load? That's really what's going on in the background.
Yeah.
And I know this is such like a random thing to nitpick, but in the very opening of the game, it's like a flashback to when Peter Quill was a kid, and his mom comes in the room, and her hair, the texture is so bad that I can't stop focusing on it than the actual game.
Oh, see, it looks awesome. Her hair looks awesome on the Series X. Like, it looks awesome. It's like totally it's got the total texture of hair. Like, it looks great.
I hope the PS5 version runs, just as fine as the Series X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to talk more to Block. He's playing it on the PS5, so I want to compare notes because again, I'm not super picky about like the techie stuff because come on, I've been primarily a Nintendo person all my life, but it was just that bad. It was so noticeable and very jarring to me. But that being said, like along with what Corey mentioned, like the colors are vibrant. I love the characters. Whoever Drax is, like perfect. I love Drax.
I know.
The thing that he says, the banter is amazing.
It's the Drax voice actor is just different enough from Dave Bautista to be distinct, but just as dry in a different way.
Yep.
And it's so good.
Cool.
It's so good.
And great soundtrack, because part of the reason why I got the Cosmic Deluxe Edition, because usually I don't like to pay too much for these deluxe editions because generally you don't get the money's worth for what they charge, but they give you like a key to have the soundtrack because the music is just banging. I love it.
Yeah.
Combat's fun. So much to do. It's a little chaotic for me in the beginning, but I love it. I can't wait to finish it.
Yeah. I also there's this part where Rocket calls Drax a musclehead, and Drax just deadpan stares Rocket in the face. He's like, "My head is not made of muscle." It's just funny. It's so funny the way he delivers it. Oh, it's so good, so good. I would not recommend playing this game unless you play it on a current gen console or PC. Like it's just. Even the Series S, man, I was really disappointed with the performance. And I was like, it really made me think like maybe the Series S isn't a viable long-term solution. Maybe there'll be an optimization patch. Maybe there'll be something coming in the future for it. But right now, with no performance mode, I was shocked actually at how bad it was running on the Series S. So.
See, I want to get those comments from you to put in our review. So
yeah.
Just heads up, we're writing a review.
What?
Spoilers. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this. Well, I've been looking forward to it since I heard it was actually good. Because all the trailers and stuff, I don't know, something looked off to me. Where I'm like, this game doesn't look that fun. But I'm excited that you guys are enjoying it. I'm excited. I'm probably gonna get in a few days for PS5. I'm trying to wrap up some stuff.
And that's the thing, Grayson. Like I'm sure you could agree with me. I think the E3 and all those things, they just kept shoving Guardians down our throat. I saw way too much of that. Like I was gonna get it regardless. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm glad it turned out to be fun. But it's like, oh, more about Guardians. Like I've seen that. Let's show me something different.
Yeah, honestly, it didn't impress me enough at E3 that like listening to you guys say it. Like I'm now where I'm gonna wait for a sale.
Mm-hmm. That's probably a good. I would probably put it there and be like, hey, it's probably gonna be on sale for Black Friday somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's a digital store or like Walmart or Target or something. Like, I'm really enjoying it, but if you're on the fence about it, I would wait for a sale. So
yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, but it's the other thing about Guardians also is like I think a lot of people felt really burned by Avengers too, and Eidos Montreal has always felt like in terms of, at least when you're like looking at the Tomb Raider games and stuff, always felt like the B team to Crystal Dynamics, and like you're having a B team do like the B squad game almost, and it's like, well,
yeah,
I don't know. By the way,
Crystal couldn't make a good game, and it's like,
By the way, did you guys see those articles popping up about the interview that the Square Enix president gave about Crystal Dynamics and how maybe they weren't the right choice to make Avengers?
Wow, no.
Ooh.
Yeah, Push Square has an article. GameIndustry.biz has an article. It's crazy.
Oof.
Rough.
Now they're making Perfect Dark, which gives me lots of hope. To be fair, look, I love their Tomb Raider games, by the way. Their Tomb Raider games are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers, cool story, great story. The only reason why I kept playing it was that story. But as soon as I was done with that campaign, I just deleted it off my console. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. I just don't know if if a different developer would have done stuff different, because I feel like they were probably pushed by like upper management to put all that microtransaction bullshit. Again, I'm sure the developers don't want that stuff in there, so it's like that game probably would have ended up that way regardless who was making it.
It definitely felt like that game was designed to be a single player drop in drop out co-op game, like with light like skill tree type stuff, and that's why it was delayed, because they wanted it to be that Destiny like, which
live service game.
Yeah.
We still haven't gotten Spider-Man, which they announced like forever ago.
Yeah, isn't he supposed to be out by the end of the year? Is that going to be like a Game Awards announcement? And he's out
probably
now.
A roadmap somewhere.
Yeah. So, are you playing anything else, Stephanie?
Let's see. I have not beat Metroid Dread yet.
Me neither. I'm trying.
I have. And I still am playing through the medium, so none of that really has changed. The biggest thing was me booting up Guardians of the Galaxy and hopefully starting Alien Fireteam Elite. That's it.
Cool. LeRon, I'm gonna go next because
all right,
I feel like it.
Do it.
So besides Guardians of the Galaxy, I have been playing Metroid Dread, and I feel like a big dum-dum. I feel stupid. I feel like this game was made to make me feel stupid. And I know I'm not the smartest person ever, right? Like, clearly not. But, man, this game makes me realize why I like the idea of Metroidvania games, and why when I start playing them, I hate playing them, and I always turn them off. It is so much fun to play. The movement is so good, and the shooting is fun, and like exploring is so fun until you get stuck. Yeah. And then you stare at that map for 20 minutes of your like 45 minutes of free time, and you're like, where the fuck do I go? And you're like, I could go there, but I don't have the morph ball yet, so I clearly can't go there. This door looks like it has like some sort of like blue laser thing attached to it, and that clearly can't go there. Oh, well, there's these doors with the three lights on it. Do I shoot all the lights? Nope, can't go there. I see this big red like thing because I unlocked like, the map where it's like, oh, well, these are the places you can go. I'm like, well, how do I get there?
There have been times where I'm trying to figure out where to go, like, because you in the game you really have to go to like the different areas and then backtrack, which I guess it makes sense. But then I find myself completely on one end of the map, and I realize like I fucked it up. I need to go to the other side.
Yeah.
Well,
and then like I'm trying to look through the map how to get back, and that's where I actually caved and went to the guy because I'm like, I don't know how to get back.
Yeah.
You know what? That's the one thing I will say I miss about the 3DS. You had the second screen that had the map always present.
Yes, that'd be great.
Here's the thing. Like, I'm like, there's this whole area at the beginning part. Like, okay, so I'm gonna make myself look like an even bigger idiot to the world right now. Okay, I've played this game for 4.5 hours, and I am still in the second area because I don't know where to go. I saw Grayson's eyes just light up like, you must be an idiot if you're
At first, I thought you were going to say, because I think when you get to the second area, you're just like stuck in a room and you have to like shoot in a random block on the left side of the wall. I thought it was like, I don't know if you're stuck there. If you got past
that's probably where I'm stuck at, because I have not shot a wall yet.
You can go to the right, and I think it's like a morph ball shooter, like exit, and there's nowhere else to go. And then it's like, you just shoot the left.
I'm booting up the game right now so I can look at the map to see exactly what.
I wrote a few Metroid guides for work. So
you want to write another one so I can finish this game?
Speaking of the morph ball, Grayson, because you beat the game, right?
Yeah.
It's a crime against humanity how late in the game they give you the morph ball.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, that's the thing with Metroid. It's like at the beginning you feel so helpless, and you're like, I don't know how to open anything. And then once you get an item, you're getting stronger, and you're getting more powers. You get more and more stuff, and you're like mastering the map, and you're like, But like Corey, like I got stuck like every fucking like 30. Every time I got a new power, I was probably stuck. But instead of like looking, I would usually just like collect items. And I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna explore, and then hopefully whatever I need to do will just pop up, which is usually what happened. I'm like, oh, I haven't killed this Emmy yet, or like, oh, I just found like the way to the next room, because I ended up 100%ing the game too, like a little bit after beating it.
Oh my god!
Man,
my god!
It was so much fun.
Thank you for bragging. Thank you for bragging. Oh,
I mean, it took me like 11 hours, I think.
Oh, actually,
good. That means I'm almost halfway done.
Actually,
I don't know if you spend a lot of time looking.
Actually, I did jump on your tweet and shit post about that because you put it up there, and I was like, "Oh wow, I feel like a dumbass now."
I mean,
I don't know. I spent a lot of time like running around, like I said, but I was like getting items too, so I was kind of like 100%ing it at the same time while.
I had to write a review for this game, and I was getting so frustrated because like it seemed like every time I make some headway, I'd get stuck or lost, and it was really messing me. I was like, I need to get. I got the game on a Friday, and I was like, I want to have the review out by next Friday, and I didn't get the review done until Saturday because I was like, this is pissing me off. Oh,
one of the only.
But you know what else cheesed me off? Like it cheesed me off to the point where I was like, you know what? Because I was doing my best to try and play this game in handheld mode, and eventually got to the point I just dropped it back in the dock. Yeah, I just dropped it back in the dock and just picked up the pro controller. And I was like, you know what? It was the boss fights actually. The boss fights were just killing me like in dock mode. I mean,
you're usually shooting like over and over again, pressing the same trigger. Like, oh my god! And the boss fights are usually pretty long, or you're repeating them because you're dying all the time.
Yeah,
and especially in the final boss, like that was.
Oh god!
Crazy.
Oh yeah! Good old Ravenbeak.
Yeah.
This game makes me feel real dumb. But now that you said I have to shoot a thing in the ceiling, I just looked at the map and I think I know where I'm supposed to go.
Yes.
So maybe I'm not sure.
Wait! The game should have taught you about those exploding blocks yet, right?
They did, but there's also.
The ones that literally had like a little heart inside.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Okay.
I'm talking about just like shooting random blocks in the ceiling, like.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
you just kind of have to get used. You have to get used to just like
Metroid.
shooting in every room because if you're stuck, that's usually it's like just something random. That's why I love when you get the item that there's a power up that lets you see like different blocks in the room.
Aeon.
So if there's invisible blocks, you can use the item and see things, which is very helpful.
What's that item you told me to find? LeRon.
The wide beam.
Yeah.
Where it shoots 3 lasers. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go find that.
Actually,
after we're done recording.
wait. If you're
might be later.
It's. I think it's later compared to like because like you will see some things that need certain power ups that you won't get till later. Like for example, like you see a lot of places where you need the morph ball, and the morph ball is like something you get 60% of the way through the game. Like it's. Like I said, it's criminal that they give it to you so late in the game, given that the morph ball on damn near every other Metroid game is the first thing
it's literally the first thing you get in Metroid 1. Like, it's literally the first thing.
It's literally the first thing you get. It's literally the first
like,
thing you get in every Metroid game.
There's like 3 or 4 power-ups tied to the morph ball in Metroid Dread at the end. Like, you're just getting... It's like, oh, you got another thing for the morph ball, and another thing, and another thing, and another thing. You're like, okay, now I can go anywhere,
And shoot, if I'm not mistaken, in Metroid Prime, you didn't even have to find it. She automatically had it.
Yeah, you just had it at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, right?
Metroid Prime, man. That is a great video game.
They need to bring it to Switch.
Yeah.
They do.
Greysun, blink twice if you know something.
I'm actually calling an Uber for my boyfriend because he's at work and his car is currently messed up. So,
no.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank goodness for Uber. I mean, what did we do like 15, 20 years ago?
Stuck our thumbs out and hailed a cab, or whistled and hailed a cab and stuck our thumbs out on the side of the road and just prayed somebody would stop. and the person that stopped would be the one that took our life that day.
For real.
I lived in Amish country. Nobody was picking anybody up. So.
Not even. Wait. So you telling me those people with the horse-drawn buggies? I thought they had like a rule, like like take care of fellow man and stuff like that.
No, only ones with horses and beards.
Okay.
So. I really don't know how the Amish work. I just know they don't use technology. So unless it's not theirs, then they can use it. I did learn that. So
random.
I know. LeRon, I'm not playing anything else other than Guardians and Metroid and feeling real stupid. So,
Okay.
What are you playing, LeRon?
Well, the only thing I've played recently is more Dead Space. I'm over halfway through the first Dead Space game, and like I promised everybody on streams and on different podcasts and stuff like that, because the Dead Space release was my October stream for Twitch. I told people because it got to a point where I got so busy that I couldn't just be on the stream whenever I wanted to playing it. That even no matter what happened, like I was going to continue playing on the stream. So Dead Space release is probably going to roll me out through the rest of the year. Just playing more Dead Space. But beyond that, I've been catching up on some shows like Young Justice just came back on a couple of weeks ago. They stealth dropped it actually because we've been looking for a date for a long time, and then all of a sudden, the same day they had a DC fandom, this is the same day the first episode came out, and I didn't watch DC fandom, so I didn't know the first episode was out. So, I'm sitting up here and all of a sudden I'm on Google at 11 o'clock at night. Everybody's like, here's what happened in the season premiere of Young Justice. Like, the fuck? What? I just got through watching the more recent episodes of Young Justice, and basically Young Justice, man, it's just so good. I don't want to say anything about what's going on in season 4 because everything is heavy spoilers. Like every episode has some craziness happening. I don't want anybody to get mad at me and be all up my DMs, upset because I spilled the beans and stuff like that. But what I am excited to talk about is a brand new Star Trek series started last week. A brand new Star Trek series started last week. Star Trek Prodegy, which is actually an animated Star Trek series on Nickelodeon. And
interesting.
Yeah, and it is so good. I gotta say, in the 50+ year history of the franchise, I gotta say this is one of the strongest pilots, strongest opening episodes I've seen for all the Star Trek series. And the cool thing about this is it's geared towards kids, but Trekkies like me, we're eating that show up. Oh my god, it's so good. Basically it's basically like a continuation of what happened after Star Trek Voyager, which that's the one with Captain Janeway for anyone that does not know about that. But basically it talks about some kids who are I'm just gonna say wayward, and they find a starship. And that starship just happens to be a brand new ship that was sent out into that area of space, and Captain Janeway's back. So I can't say enough about they actually aired episodes 1 and 2 together. So the pilot is 40 something minutes. It's actually worth the look if you got Paramount Plus. Or actually, wait, I just saw that the premiere they're running the premiere again on YouTube. I think it's tomorrow.
Are the main characters children?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are adults. Okay, so the Prodigy series premiere, they'll run the full episode tonight at 3 a.m. Eastern time. So it'd be available on YouTube tomorrow. Basically, for anyone who wants to watch it. So you get a chance. As a matter of fact, just check out YouTube if you don't have Paramount Plus or you missed it on when it came. Actually, I don't even know if it aired live on Nickelodeon. I don't know. I think it's Paramount Plus. Even though it says it's a Nickelodeon show, but all I gotta tell you is if you love other Nickelodeon shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Avatar: Legend of Korra, and stuff like that, it has that pedigree. Plus, it's Star Trek. So yeah, there you go.
Interesting. Actually, I meant to ask this to a Trekkie fan like yourself. Have you seen the Orville?
Yes, I have.
Do you appreciate and enjoy it, or did you think it was kind of too?
I do appreciate and enjoy it. My problem is I haven't actually devoted the time to actually watch it all the way through because it's only had 2 seasons, and technically the third season. I want to say the third season got kind of held up because of COVID, but also apparently Fox decided to drop it, and so Hulu's picked it up. So Hulu's been in production, but production has been I don't know when it's coming back on. It's been over 2 years now since we've heard anything real about
I
and
was so into it.
I'm starting to get afraid. Because basically Orville came out at a time when like there was no active Star Trek, so a lot of Trekkies like flocked to it because it's basically a love letter to Star Trek: The Next Generation, except it's basically American Dad and Family Guy meets Star Trek: The Next Generation. Me personally, I have a problem with satirical stuff in Star Trek, which is why the other animated Star Trek show, Lower Decks, it took a while for me to latch onto that one. I feel like they were doing way too many call outs to the show, and all I had to do was just be its own show, if that makes sense. But yeah, I actually like the Orville, but like fandoms can't ever like enjoy a good thing when it's there in front of you. So everyone started fighting and stuff, and people are like, "Oh yeah, this is the next Star Trek," and I was like, "No, I was saying, no, you dummy, this is not Star Trek. Until it says Star Trek: The Orville, this is not Star Trek." But basically, like the fandoms got the fights over it, and I was like, you know what, this is pissing me off, so I'm not gonna watch the show. But it's not because I dislike the show. Like I actually appreciate the show and stuff like that. And I'm eventually gonna get, at least when I know for sure when the third season's starting, I will get caught up on the previous two.
Nice.
Yeah, but the Orville's good. It's got a phenomenal cast of actors. I mean, besides Seth MacFarlane, who's like a master of all trades, you've got Adrian Palicki, you've got Scott Grimes, who I loved him in ER and a couple of the other shows that he was in. What else? Who else? Crap. What's her name? The doctor.
Yeah,
she was the president of the United States, the first lady in like the first 3 seasons of 24. And she was also in Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. Penny Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're better at names than I am. Oh.
When they're attached to stuff that I love, I do that. I mean, because Adrian Palicki, she was a bad. I'm actually rewatching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, so I'm in season 2 when her character is introduced. And a little trivia for you, like her character is Bobby Morse in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but technically, like she was Mockingbird, who was one of Hawkeye's apprentices.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nerd.
So there you go. Hey. That's why I'm part of Boss Rush. Boss Rush loves nerds.
It's fair. We do. Well, if that's all we're doing with our lives, we can get into some topics now that we're 52 minutes in to the show. Greysun, you're our guest. What is your topic?
So forgive me if you guys have like talked about it recently. I'm not sure, but since I was talking about the indie game, I was thinking about like if there are any games that you guys have played that have made you cry or get emotional or anything like that. It got me thinking about like, the list of games in my head, and I'm like, yep, cried for that one. I know some people don't even cry for video games, but I was wondering if you guys had any things for that. For me personally, like I talked about it earlier, but Life is Strange is a game for me that I remember crying a lot just at the ending, basically, because that game has like 2 different endings, and I picked the one that's known as like the bad ending, but that's like my ending. So
wait, you picked that ending, or you maneuvered?
I mean, yeah, it was the one I wanted to pick. It was when I felt was the right thing to do. It wasn't. I don't want to be selfish. But that ending, it made me it's so sad because they're playing like a really sad song. It's like funeral happens, and it's very sad. And also The Last of Us. Just in the first 15 minutes of that game, the introduction, Last of Us Part 1, not Part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2 didn't make me cry at all, I think.
It made me angry.
Yeah, it made me feel a lot of other things, but not really sad for anyone.
I was so sad at the beginning of The Last of Us Part 1 that I couldn't stop thinking about it to the point where like I was like 2 or 3 hours into the game. Besides like not even really caring about the game, like I couldn't play it because I just like things happen to kids.
Did you have your kids by then too?
No.
When that game's out? Oh no.
No.
Oh.
it might be something that comes up on After Dark, actually, when we get into topics like that. But yeah, anything that just happens to like kids, it just like just really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I hate to kind of give a cheesy answer real quick, but I'll just say it just because it's been mentioned. Last of Us, and I am not. I just am not a crier in general. But the day I had Nikolai, ever since then, anything will make me cry. I just became a different person. I'm actually upset at myself for this. And the first 15 minutes of Last of Us, and also the ending, like when spoiler. Joel makes whatever decision he makes. I was like, the father-daughter love. Okay, sorry.
Kids made Stephanie a big softie.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, so the stuff with kids, like in video games, and I get detached from really quickly. So what happened to Joel's daughter in The Last of Us didn't get me, but when I played Detroit Become Human, in my first run, I accidentally screwed something up, and the little girl that Kara was keeping track of,
I know you're talking about.
She got killed, and you know what? I because I want to see that. Once I realized what was happening, I was like, I need to see the outcome because I know this is the final act anyway. That got me to the point where I had to rewind and actually do it over because I was like, no. But a moment, like an actual bittersweet moment that made me cry was the end of Uncharted 4 when we saw we saw Drake's daughter. Like I was not ready. Like I when you feel your eyes burning because you know the tears are coming. I was like, what is happening right now? There's nothing bad is happening here on the screen, but at the same time, I was like, something was telling me like this is the end. This is the end of like an epic storyline because. For me, like Uncharted was the reason why I even bought a PS3 in the first place. When I saw the very first trailer of Uncharted Drake's Fortune, I was like, I'm spending $600 for this machine to play this game. And Uncharted has been like the flagship series for me for PlayStation for all this time. So from PS3 to PS4 and now on PS5, because spoiler alert, we're getting an Uncharted game on PS5. we are. You guys think Uncharted's over? We're getting an Uncharted game.
No, I think there's
letting that series die.
Isn't it rumored that there's 2 in development? There's like a remake of that first game, rumored.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if that got debunked or like the Sony Bend was like going to work on it, but then they didn't want to, and then I don't know that whole Last of Us remake, the first game remake, and then they moved that to some internal team somewhere else. I don't know that whole mess, but
yeah.
Also, like they'd be stupid not to do another Uncharted, right? Like it's I don't know.
Yeah, like it's not going to be Drake. I know that for sure, but it's probably going to get passed off to either Chloe Nadine, or it might just become like Uncharted Chronicles because the Lost Legacy is done. Too. Yeah. Well, the Lost Legacy did so well that Sony and Naughty Dog knows that, that universe is rich with stuff. Like, they could even go back and do prequels. Like, hey, Nathan
or they could even do
over, but guess
they could do Sam and Sully, too. Like, they could do that, or they could do, like...
There's some side characters that are also, like, super hilarious. Like, the guy...
Carver? Carver? Oh, my God.
They're so good, too. Like, I would totally play, like, a 6-hour Carver, like, game.
Big British dumbass.
Him and Cassie together and a new adventure.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so much they can do. Like they've made so much lore in the 5 games, in the 5 official Uncharted games, that there's so much stuff they can do. Like Uncharted, like Nathan Drake's storyline is over as far as Uncharted 4 is concerned, but he still did other stuff before all this crap. So they could go back and tap into like some of his other adventures and stuff like that. Like Golden Abyss was an example of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that Lost Legacy just proved that you can continue Uncharted without Drake, and personally, it's my second favorite Uncharted game behind 2. So,
yeah, I'm right there with you. I was gonna say the exact same thing. Because 2 is my favorite.
Yeah,
this amazing Uncharted talk we had, and we didn't have Crossroads this week. Like there was no episode of Crossroads this week, and we had fantastic.
The more and more I like think about Uncharted, the more and more I like really love Uncharted, And I went from like, I liked the first one, I loved the second one, but then I think I played the entire trilogy back to back to back.
Oh.
And so like I think by the time I was partway through 3, I was kind of burned out, you know, and it just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth of like, man, more Uncharted. But then like Uncharted 4 was like, it was really good, although I think it was probably a little too long. But then Lost Legacy was like the perfect length for me. I'm like, man, this is, if we could get one of these like every 2 years or every 3 years,
God.
like perfect.
Yeah.
Games.
You know what?
Crying.
One game that made me cry? I recently finished it. Was Roki. It's a indie game made by Polygon Treehouse, I believe, and I didn't think of it as like a emotional, sad game, but it's based off of Scandinavian fairy tales and folklore, and you're this girl whose mother passed away. The father is, I don't know, they kind of allude to he's drinking himself to oblivion because of the sorrow from losing his wife, and she's kind of taken over the parenting role of her little brother. Her little brother gets kidnapped, and she goes into this mystical world to save him from this witch or whatever. And so like this entire time, it's not like it's a tearjerker, but it's always at the end of the game. It all has, and I won't spoil it, but you know, you see the reason why the bad guy is the bad guy versus kind of what you're trying to do, and it all has to do with family and losing a loved one and what parents will do anything to save their children. See, again, it's a children thing, anything to do with kids. By the end, I just started welling up. I'm like, I will not cry. I will not cry. So.
I actually remember, this is a quick one, but I think I got emotional or like teary-eyed when I played like Beat Saber for the first time, like PlayStation VR, just because I was like, this is so fucking cool, and I love video games, and I'm like, I'm so glad this exists, and I'm like able to experience these games like this. Yeah, so Tetris Effect too, I think gets me like teary-eyed sometimes, just because of the music and Tetris Effect.
It's like yeah, so much joy. Yeah.
That music really like
the main theme song, the Tetris, that we're all connected. That song is really really hits.
I'm not like a big music person, but every time you hear music that like, or at least me, like I hear like certain songs or certain music, like it just gets me emotional. Like one of the songs that always gets me emotional, and LeRon, shut up, because I feel a comment coming on. Every time I hear Sanctuary from Kingdom Hearts, it like makes me really emotional. Hearts
intro for me is very
simple and clean,
emotional. Yeah. Even the Kingdom Hearts 3 one is really good. The Face Your Fears, is that it? The intro? Yeah. So good.
Kingdom Hearts was a series that kind of made me emotional a little bit, I think. Especially 2, like at the end of 2, really.
That cutscene at the end when they're all like hugging on the island. Yeah, and like Kingdom Hearts 3 has that same thing too. It's like so emotional. They're all like finally back together, and you're like, oh god.
I don't know about you guys, but since Corey mentioned it, like I feel music has a lot to do with my emotional state in games and movies too. Like the end of The Last of Us, like overall the Last of Us soundtrack I think is very good and can move my emotions. But Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, I did not cry, but what almost moved me to cry was Fi's Farewell. But I really think 90% of what made me so emotional was that song, the music. Right, almost cried. I didn't.
Yeah, Twilight Princess did the same thing for me. Like when Midna, they're going to the mirror, and like Midna gives that speech to Link, and then like she walks to the mirror and she's staring at him, and then the mirror just shatters.
Oh yeah.
Like
she can never see him again.
Music always, like, because Life is Strange, that ending had music, and The Last of Us, that banjo kicks in at the end of the game. You're like,
yes.
Oh god. And then like God, what else was I gonna bring up? Like if I watch a trailer for some sad movie, it's like a minute long, I will get teary-eyed if it's sad. Just sitting there watching this trailer, I'm like, oh my god, this is so emotional. Yeah. If it's the right music.
Yes, Greysun, trailers. That Breath of the Wild trailer, the second one.
Oh yeah.
That music. Oh,
Breath
I
of
watched
the-
it again. I'm pretty sure I'll cry.
Breath of the Wild.
Wait till we get another one.
So
Yeah.
there are certain parts of that, like especially when you start finding the memories and you realize that like, you know, Zelda is actually going to like, you know, you're kind of watching Link die, and like Zelda like really finds herself. That's like super powerful. I mean, I didn't really cry, but I was like, oh man, this is cool. This is good stuff. But the one game which they actually did a Talk the Walk on a couple weeks ago was Gree. That game. Once you like really find out what that game's about, and like you watch the emotional journey unfold, and like at the end when like she kind of gets swallowed by the black screen, and you're just like, hey, that game is super emotional. I love that game so much.
Yeah.
I wish I could blow up like half the screenshots I took of that game and just hang them around my house. The game is so
beautiful.
pretty.
That reminded me of Journey too. I think that game made me cry at the end when I first played it. And I played Journey when it came out too. I think when it got I saw the reviews and stuff. I'm like, oh, I gotta play this game. And then the ending hits me. That ending, it's like spoilers for Before Your Eyes, but there's a lot in common there for the ending of the game. But like, yeah, that ending is really. It's not that it's sad. It's like, I don't know if you guys played Journey, but like at the end, you're almost like going up this really cold mountain alone by yourself. And the wind is like hitting the character so hard that they're like you're walking, you're pushing the stick forward, but you're like barely moving, and she's going slower and slower and slower until they like pretty much fall to the ground, and you wake up and your character is just like flying through this like it's very spiritual. It's almost like them transcending to like heaven, and you're like flying with these other characters, and it's like the music is bellowing, and there's like a lot of things going on. You know, it's very powerful stuff like that.
Yeah. The last game I'm going to mention is Final Fantasy X, when you realize what, you know, Tidus and Yuna are about to go through. And, like, Tidus realizes he's, like, spoilers for Final Fantasy X, I guess. He's, like, not supposed to be here, right? And so, like, when him and Auron start disappearing, and he goes to hug Yuna, and she goes through him because he's, you know, he's disappearing, he's leaving. It's like that whole scene was like super emotional for me. I love Final Fantasy X. I don't care what anybody says. Game's amazing.
The game's so long too, you know. So
I know
when you get to that point, you're just like you've been on this journey with that character. You're like, oh god,
oh, so good. Oh, Final Fantasy X. Great Final Fantasy game. Better than 7. I just like to say that. I like to rile up the crowd. The non-crowd.
hot takes.
Hot takes.
All right, LeRon, it's time for you to open up.
Yeah, LeRon.
Become vulnerable to us.
I thought I already told you like.
Oh, just more.
Like,
I don't know.
I don't have any more like.
Okay, tough guy.
They play games that I can murder things like Dead Space, Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
No, I play deep and philosophical games. I mean, I play Tetris and Qbert every so often.
I got real emotional when I killed that monster in Monster Hunter the other night. I've been hunting him for so long that I killed him. Tear rolled down my face.
The first time me and the team was able to take down Alex Treyon, that was some work.
So the first time I beat Magnamalo in the demo, I was very
you know what? Hey, you know what? Anyone will cry on that one because God, he was like 3 times tougher than he actually wound up being in the game. Like, why did they jack him up so hard in that demo like that?
Because they know Monster Hunter fans are like to that.
Not only did they jack him up so hard, like they only gave you like 25 minutes to kill him.
Crazy. Wow.
Like the full mission takes 50 minutes in game. What do you guys do?
It takes like 6 minutes to get to the monster, and then you have.
Oh man.
Wow.
Those ones I mentioned earlier. Those are about the only ones I can think of. When it comes to like sorrow emotions, like I get detached from games. Like I that's an emotion I get detached from. Like I mean, like but like I said, like Uncharted 4 with with Drake's daughter, like, yeah, that got me. There's scenes, but the scenes like in like the Detroit Become Human, when I accidentally like let the girl get killed. And I'm trying to remember, because like it's been a little while since I played it. I'm trying to remember. A spoiler alert. I'm trying to remember if they had found out she was. Yeah, they had already found out she was an android at that point. That the daughter was an android. The girl was an android at that point. But by that time, like, you know, Kara had like imprinted on her so heavily that, you know, like it was now like a mother-daughter instinct for Kara the android. You know, I can't think of any other games though where it pulled some tears out of me though. Like, I mean, you know, maybe I'm just like a heartless bastard. You know,
I have one more to take over LeRon's soulless emotional state.
Because the last time I had a good cry was like at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was the last time. That was the last time. Yeah, like that speech Sam gave, that was too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That and when he walked into the war museum and he saw like the old dude, you know, he had a statue in there. Like, yeah, like I was a wreck at that point.
Yeah. My last one is the very beginning of God of War, when he carries her body to burn it.
That wasn't enough.
Oh man, dude.
I
get it. But yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was that on a different level hit me.
Actually, you know what? Metroid Dread made me cry. As soon as like Samus woke up and she was in that white suit, I was like, "Oh God, I gotta go find all those power ups again."
I cried because I had to play the game. Oh no!
No. Hear me out. Can we have one Metroid game where she at least keeps like the Varia suit and, you know, like the super missiles or something, you know, because you know, of course, like everything becomes, once you get the super missiles, all of a sudden everything becomes a bullet sponge for the super missiles. So it's like the super missiles, they're not even that super anymore like they used to be in Super Metroid, you know. So can she like keep half of her shit or something? You know, I don't need the screw attack, but can I have the space jump?
Can you at least start with the morph ball?
Gaming works.
The morph ball
power ups,
at least.
Just, I know, Corey and Stephanie, I know you guys haven't beaten it, but Greysun, can you imagine if like she had all the abilities except the ones she got at the very end of the game? Can you imagine how fun Metroid Dread would have been? Why can the new game plus let us keep all that crap? It just been a harder game.
Yeah, or they could have done like the Breath of the Wild thing and let you fight Ravenbeak at the beginning of the game or something. But, you know, it encourages you to find all the different power-ups. But I think that might mess up the way you explore the map or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that is true, because I have seen people like doing some hardcore sequence breaking of the game.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like,
so cool.
It's like there was one power-up, if you get it too early, like it basically glitches all the enemies that you fight after that point. So sequence breaking is not always your friend.
It's fair. All right. Well, that was a good topic. Good topic.
Yeah, nice
good topic,
Greysun.
Greysun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thought of it real fast.
LeRon, what's your topic?
All right. My topic is actually video game related. Which hero or heroine in gaming has left the biggest impression on you?
Biggest impression.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm surprised Corey didn't already offer up Master Chief. I'm surprised. Oh, or is that Josh Finney I'm confusing you for?
I like
Joe
Halo. I'm not like the biggest Halo guy. I enjoy Halo. I like playing Halo. I'm not the lore guy. You want to talk about Master Chief, you just go to Colonel Panic and just
or Nerd Generalist.
Yeah, so
oh wait, Nerd is Destiny.
Nerd is right now is Final Fantasy 14.
Oh.
So talk about a game that makes me want to cry just thinking about it. Jeez.
Oh my
The
God.
game's so big.
I don't know.
Man, I don't know, because like there's characters that have had an impact on my life, right? Like obviously Link and Zelda, like at some point, or Mario or Sonic, or like, but those are games like I know. those are
Wait,
games
no,
that
no,
like
no.
I grew up with, and I have like an emotional attachment to these
Yeah.
characters. But like recently, like I think Aloy really had a big impact
Uh-huh.
on me, just because like she's just like a really cool character, and her story is cool, and just like the way that you find out about who she is and how she is kind of like shunned by her own tribe almost, or outcasted at least, and like how she goes about finding out who she really is and making her way through the world is really cool. And I feel like her story like replicates a lot of people trying to find their way through life. And maybe somebody doesn't know their family, or doesn't, maybe they just had to find their way through life in a different way. And I feel like she's a character that's easily, like, people are easily connected to. I think she's a really good character, and her story is really good. And it just really kind of impacted me in a way that I didn't expect.
Yeah. The only reason why I was laughing when you said Link earlier is because like all I think about when it comes to Link is some skinny guy who grabs a sword and just comes into your house and starts breaking all your vases and stuff. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why I was laughing about that. That's all.
Hey, he's my hero too.
Same. I got a Link tattoo somewhere.
Some little 14-year-old twink just comes into your village and says he's going to take out the big bad.
To be,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not like Link isn't really. Link isn't an impactful character though. Like, it's Zelda. It's the characters that you encounter who are impactful in Zelda. Link kind of.
Wait. Tingle is impactful.
To someone, I'm sure somebody likes Tingle.
Well, I mean, obviously, Link's like number one nemesis is the chicken in Link to the Past.
I don't know. I feel like there's just characters in Zelda that are way more impactful than Link is, right? Like I feel like if anyone in that entire series is impactful, it's Zelda, right? Like, especially in Breath of the Wild, like Zelda's so cool in that game.
So I hate to like make this go from like funny to being super serious, but I am a huge Zelda nerd. I write for another Zelda podcast. So I read through a book called The Psychology of Zelda. Yes, I actually bought a psychology book on Zelda. And it kind of explained why I got very attached to Link as a hero. And I'm sure you know the basics of it is Link, the name, it was, such that players are linked to the avatar, and it allows players to project themselves onto the hero and kind of live through the struggles and go through trials in a simulated environment. And it goes on to like talk about Carl Jung, like it gets wicked scientific, which is right up my alley. So even though there is so much nonsensical stuff like smashing pots and getting chased by chickens, especially with Ocarina of Time, and I know some people feel it's overrated, but it's the game I grew up with. What I loved about it is you have the journey as the child where you're underpowered, right? And everyone thinks you're just a kid and pushes you around. And even though you don't want to accept your destiny, well, I guess he could have walked away, right? You have to fully embrace it yourself, grow up, and overcome the darkness or whatever. So that's why I looked up to Link so much. And Link, they left his personality relatively a clean slate. He's a silent protagonist for a reason. And I think that's why I was able to identify with him so much, even though he's technically a male, for example, and I'm a female. Like he's pretty androgynous too. Like in general, he's a very clean slate for people to relate and project themselves on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite iteration of Link is definitely Link to the Past, though. I mean, you summed it up. Like he winds up like becoming like the inheritor of this great task, and he just has to like rise to the challenge and stuff.
I think for me, like when I'm thinking about a character that's like, actually has some like emotion besides like Mario or like Link or like these characters that I grew up with, I just think about Sora a lot, honestly, from Kingdom Hearts. He's just like, he's a little bit goofy and like can be a little bit stupid, but throughout the series, him and like Donald, Goofy, and everyone, they're fighting against these fucking like the most evil people in the entire universe, and somehow this kid always, manages to keep a smile on his face in the face of danger, and motivates his friends. And his phrase is like, "My friends are my power," and I think that's really strong, because that's true in a sense. Like if you don't have, it's all about connections and family and friends and having people by your side and helping you out of the darkness back into the light. Kingdom Hearts is always about light and darkness. Basically, Star Wars with Disney characters, and I mean not Disney characters, like Final Fantasy characters. And Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy has like playing those as a kid shaped the way I shaped my taste in games and RPGs and stuff. So, Sora is always has always been an important video game character to me.
Yeah, very positive influence. I totally agree with Sora, and he's just, even when things are just so grim and stuff like that, he's just got this bit of positivity and heart.
I mean,
but
he represents hope, right? Like, it's, sorry, I was talking to my wife. I didn't know if I'm gonna retread something here, but like, Sora just Sora, like that game is so, it's all about darkness consuming the world, right? Essentially, and Sora is like the hope that like he's the vector for hope, and you just have to hope because he hopes. And I think that's why that story, even though a little convoluted sometimes,
has some good in there.
I think it has a good overarching story to tell. So
like he's traveling to these different Disney worlds that are all in peril and have some type of disaster or some unfortunate event that's going on that's usually not happening in this place, and he's going and fixing each one by one, and making friends along the way. These friends are adding to his ever-growing roster of buddies to help him. So it's it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, and now he's in Smash. So
and now he's in the clique with everyone else.
Yeah.
The squad.
Yeah. It's part
Big
of the
boys.
squad. Yeah. But Stephanie, going back to what you said about Link and how you relate to him and even though he's a male character, right? Like, I feel like playing games, I always related more towards like the female characters for some reason. Like the new Tomb Raider games, I love Lara and her story. I love Horizon. I mean, even Lost Legacy, going back to Lost Legacy, I love those characters and just the way they interact. And like, I don't know what it is or about it or anything. Like Mass Effect, I was the same way. I was femshep. Like for some reason, like every time I play a game that gives you the choice to play between a male or female, I always pick a female character. And it's not because I want to like have something sexy to look at, right? Like, cause like whatever, cause like that's the first thing, at least my straight friends point out, is like, oh, you just want to look at a woman for 60 hours. And I'm like, no, I want to see what kind of story they tell, because like how many characters did we grow up playing games and it's like this generic looking white guy that always, whatever, shaved head and a beard and whatever, right? Like, I mean,
you're gonna love my pick when I see it.
Oh no.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Nathan Drake and I like Cole from Infamous and I like all these characters, but it's just like I like seeing different stories, and I feel like when you see something from a different perspective, it's more impactful on your life. And even if it's dumb and stupid, like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like seeing a story from a different perspective is way more impactful than seeing something that you're like, oh, I kind of look like that guy, so I must be him,
That's a good way to put it. I wonder if that's kind of why, because usually if I get to pick a character, I usually pick a male character. I don't know why. Like, actually, I forgot. I started playing Far Cry 6 and I chose like the male version of Danny. But like, I don't know. I never really stopped and asked myself why.
Yeah, I always pick the female too. Well, not always, but most of the time. And I think it's because of what you said. Like, we don't get that many games that star female characters. When we get the opportunity, I'm gonna take advantage of that. And it offers a different perspective, like you said, which is nice.
Yeah.
Usually.
LeRon, do you mind if I mention just like one quick hero? Because I don't know, I feel like as much as I love Link, I just feel like it is kind of one of the most common answers. A more current game, I really love and look up to, so to speak, is Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just very refreshing because, and maybe I just can relate to a bit more, but he just has such an honorable character and personality. But even then, he has to learn, and he struggles internally with doing what he needs to do to, save his uncle, and just the way to see his story unfold is just, I don't know. I admire that character so much.
Yeah.
It's always good when you see a character that you're like you can latch on to, especially a character you're going to spend like 40 to 60 hours with at least.
Right.
So
yeah.
Good topic.
Yeah, LeRon, so who's your hero? Now I'm dying to know.
It's actually Commander Shepard from Mass Effect. Yeah. Honestly, but I had like a pretty big list of some of the most influential characters I can think of. Samus Aran is like one of the very first ones, but I've evolved with Metroid just as much as Metroid has evolved with itself and stuff like that. Samus is still one of my kick-ass characters and stuff like that. Like definitely it's got me to the point where I love sci-fi video games. But from Samus to Drake to Mega Man, overall, it wound up just being like Commander Shepard. And honestly, because if you look at the role, Shepard, I'm not gonna say Shepard was like a blank slate, because you get a chance to you get a chance to formulate his story before you get started, and then you kind of construct and wind up making him what he is through your thoughts and actions and stuff like that. But the cool thing about it is it's one of those games where the narrative, gets you to the point where you're a hero or you're the non-villain. Because you can go totally renegade with Shepard and he still winds up being the hero. but at the same time, you go totally renegade with Shepard and it's this dude, they need to put this dude on a leash, or this woman on a leash, if you play a film chef and stuff like that. The reason why I don't play with a lot of female characters anymore is because way back in the day with the original Monster Hunter game, I used to play nothing with female characters whenever I had a chance. It was just one of those things, But Monster Hunter came out, and I kind of got myself in trouble online for being a guy in real life. So that broke me out.
That's not your fault, though.
That's people thinking you're someone.
Yeah.
Well,
I
mean, just to keep from being questioned and stuff like that, I would just go ahead and play along like I actually was an actual real woman, So. Yeah. Let's just say someone almost bought themselves a ticket from California to come to Virginia, and I was like, okay, we need to stop this right now.
Wow.
We need to stop this right now.
End up on Catfish and MTV.
Wow.
And the sad part about it was, looking back on it, it wasn't even like I was doing anything sexual, as far as how I would talk to this. I was just in character. I'm a woman in real life, so I was just in character and stuff like that. Chat never really got anything sexual, but I should realize, hey, we're bonding a little too heavily here. Yeah. So the only time I don't elect to play female characters unless the female character is the default. If there's no other choice, that's how it is. This is why when games like Detroit Become Human, comes out and you actually get to jump between different characters, males and females and stuff like that. I'm totally cool with it. Oh yeah, I can get into this. Whereas some people, because we know there's sexist people out there. Oh, I gotta play with the girl right now. Or, dumb shit like that.
That's not true. The internet's a nice place.
Everyone's accepting on the internet.
Wait, how many comments and views did I get on the Aloy feminism article?
Yeah, they were all positive and encouraging and
yeah. And what about my editorial on LGBTQ representation in gaming? I got special messages from people.
Yeah, see, special messages thanking you for writing such a nice article.
Oh boy, I feel like I need to get another hit piece ready to write. What's going on right now in the real world that's affecting video games that people just need to hear about? Yep, but that's my pick, and thanks for like throwing out some wonderful names and characters for this topic. Like,
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Nice. Stephanie, what's your topic?
So my topic was inspired by the chat when Corey was talking about how much he sucks at Metroid Dread. Oh, come on. I suck at it too. I'm not saying I'm any better. And it's about gaming guides, mostly online. And I know, Grace, you might be familiar like with how those get written up and stuff. And so basically, do you ever refer to gaming guides when you're playing? Are you one of those people that like are really stubborn and they just want to play through it without it? Is seeking help with an online guide cheating? Because some hardcore gamers are like, they look down on people who look things up. And we're all at the age where when we were younger, they barely existed. If anything, like a small magazine, that's all you got. Or like when you're at the playground, you're talking to your friends. Now you just got to Google it. And I just like to know what your guys' thoughts are. And if you do use it, or depending on the game, like, is there a game where you just couldn't beat without looking it up?
Personally, I try not to use them, but when I'm like hitting my head against a wall for like a puzzle, or I have to look it up. And if it's like, for example, Kenna, I was constantly looking up how to beat this boss, how to do this thing, because that game is not good at like giving you directions sometimes.
Yeah, like the best clues. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going? What am I supposed to do here? And it's something like, oh, you missed this thing, this flower. It's like right there. And I'm like, wow, I'm so dumb. And then eventually, if I keep Googling stuff, I'll keep doing it more for that game. Because Ken, I was like, I just want to beat this game at this point. So I'm looking up boss guides before I even fight the boss. I'm like watching a video just so I don't have to like die too many times. I'm like, I just want to be prepared for this. I don't have time to be dying over and over again. And yeah, I don't consider it cheating, in any way. Sometimes we need help. Sometimes games have bad game design and we have to look stuff up, like for example, like at work at GameRant, we have guides that do very well that you would not think do well. That are like the most simplest thing that people are looking up, like how to enter this door, how to like do this one stupid thing. But yeah, no, I think it's great. Like, make sure to read guides when you can. I was kidding. Read my guides. No, I mean, I think it's fine to have that information out there. It's fine to look it up. I don't think people should ever feel bad about, Googling that stuff.
I feel like people who go out of their way to be upset about people looking at guides are just they belong in a special hell that's meant for like child molesters and people who talk in the back of the movie theater.
Yeah,
there's no time. There's too many games,
Yeah, people get upset over the weirdest thing, like, oh, you're not a real gamer unless you XYZ, and one of them is don't look at a guide. But like for me, I try not to, and but I'm not that great at video games, and or if I try a scary game, because I'm not a scary game player, and it's not even because I need help. It's just I have the guide next to me, so I can read ahead and make sure if there's any jump scares. That's really it. So that's what I did for Soma.
So basically, when Stephanie plays Dead Space, she's gonna be recapping my stream.
Yep. I'm like, oh, there's a jump scare there. Okay, I know he got like fucked up there.
Which, by the way, the jump scares you guys have seen on my stream, they're genuine because I've forgotten where some of this shit's coming at you from.
Yeah, so I definitely have used them for scary games that friends have made me play. I did crack open a guide for a few areas of Metroid Dread. I'm not going to be a dead horse there, but I was very proud of myself how far I got until I got stuck, and I think that was to get the wide beam. I think by then that's when I hit my first wall. But yeah, it is tempting though. Like once you start, you're like, well, and it depends if you enjoy the game or not enjoy the game so much. I might be more inclined to. Yeah.
Speaking of, we've been talking about Metroid Dread all night. Last week, Jack, who was on the show with us, he hooked me up because he kept his eyes open for like a collector's edition for Metroid Dread. Okay, so I got it today. First of all, I did not know it was this damn big.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's like that's huge.
It looks like when I got the box and I picked it up, I was like, "Is this a strategy guide? What is going on right now?"
The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 box was that big.
What's that?
The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 box was that
was
big.
it?
The collector's edition.
But yeah, this is the coolest thing. This is the coolest thing, and even the backside artwork is
Oh, that's
freaking
cool.
fantastic, and stuff like that. Yeah.
What does that come with?
You've got the steel book, which is nice. An art book, which the art book is full size. The art book, like that's the reason why this thing is this big. The art book is full size.
Nice.
Art book's this size and maybe about that thick. It's got art cards, and of course the game.
Nice. I should have gotten that instead of the Guardians one because their art book is like this big.
Oh my.
Oh.
Too small. A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like I was like I kept forgetting to like mention something, and finally when you mentioned Metroid Dread again, I was like, oh, I need to show this right now. But also like going back to your whole like you had to look up some of Metroid Dread. Like I got sick and tired of being lost, and I went to look for what I was supposed to do, and I accidentally found the sequence break to get the gravity suit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then instead of actually finding what I was supposed to do, I spent 45 minutes learning the sequence break trick to get the gravity suit. And my God, let me tell you, like the gravity suit, then you can go in the cold places now. And well, technically, Samus still gets effed up because, like, if you guys don't know, like Samus has Metroid DNA now, so cold stuff still affects her. It used to not affect her in the old games before Metroid Fusion, and now cold stuff like still f's her up, but not as bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like as soon as I got the gravity suit, I was like, oh, hallelujah. And then still had to backtrack to find what I originally was looking for.
Always.
That's a nice sidetrack, though.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Metroid maps right now, by the way.
I'm a fan of strategy. I'm a fan of strategy guides and online guides. Like when I was younger, yeah, like it took me a little while. Actually, Nintendo Power kind of spoiled me because Nintendo Power had this nasty little knack of releasing a full strategy guide after the game has been out for a while, because Nintendo Power is month to month. Like a game comes out last month, and then like after we've already angst over it and beaten the game, then like the full strategy guide comes out. Because God, who remembers Nintendo Power that had all the world maps to Super Mario 3? Like, man, that was one of the most epic issues of Nintendo Power ever. I swear. And so from a very young age, like strategy guides have kind of been a thing for me and stuff like that. But I mean, like I said, like people should not get uptight about that stuff. Some people do not have the time to I legit thought when I beat Metroid Dread for the first time, I legit thought that my time was going to be like over 18 hours, and I was shocked to see I was under 12. I was like, huh? I was like, how many times did I get lost in this game? Because it felt like I was in them caverns for like forever, and it was only 11 hours, stuff like that. Like some people have a threshold. This is also why some people play on the easiest difficulty. They just want to play and enjoy the game and get onto their next game and stuff like that. And that's also what strategy guides do. And so I'm a fan and I'm an advocate for strategy guides, walkthroughs, let's plays.
Let's plays are fun.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that stuff. Shoot, like, and also sometimes the best way to get good is to see what other people are doing, because like, for example, like the like all the counter tricks, like the first that boss that disappears on you in Metroid Dread, for example, when you slide under his legs, like as soon as you clear it, there's a counterpoint. But I didn't know that. So every time I slid under his legs, I was automatically getting owned by the tail. And then like
that's happened to me. Yeah.
And then I watched someone else do it later, and I was like, wait, every time you slide under it, you hit the counter button, and you get like this cool animation where you're basically blasting in the face with missiles for like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes people don't get full enjoyment out of the games that they're playing until they either like get a strategy guide, or they see a playthrough, or they actually just watch someone else play it. Sometimes it's just how it is. Why ruin people's fun? Wow, I sound like everybody that talks to me in the Boss Rush chat weekly.
Some of the strategy guides I would get just because they're just gorgeous. Like I got the big ones. I forget what publisher puts them out. But like Breath of the Wild, I got that one obviously. And let me tell you, some of those shrines I was just too dumb to figure it out, so I used it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
And then Red Dead 2, just the art style. I wouldn't even need to use all of it because that's not a very difficult game, but it's gorgeous.
I can't remember when, but man, like it was almost like Prima Games like flipped a light switch, and all of a sudden like their strategy guide game was like stepped up tremendously. It was like, I want to get the book just because I know it's got some cool ass artwork in it.
My friend Jesse Vitelli, he works at Prima Games, and he just wrote an entire strategy guide for Axiom Verge 2. And it's like an official like limited run. Yeah, I think it's not for sale anymore. I think it ended like a few days ago, but I was like, it was him and a coworker, but I was like, that's incredible. Like,
yeah,
I can't imagine writing a strategy guide like that, like in 2021, you know?
Nice.
Yeah, that's so
nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
That I don't know if you guys can see. People can see it on the stream, but the bookcase that's behind me over here, it looks fancy. It looks like it has a ton of books, but it's all strategy guides and art books.
No, we can't see it. I'm looking at the stream right now.
I know.
No, we can't see it.
I just see a curtain.
Yeah, me too.
It's behind the TV. It's like over here.
Okay, kind of see it.
This green glow from my TV.
Yeah. Okay. Now we see a corner of it, but yeah, we understand.
Yeah, it's full of strategy guides. I used to collect them. Like every single time I bought a game, I would buy the guide with it up until, God, I don't know, probably partway through like PS4, Xbox One generation. I would buy the strategy guide. I liked having them, even though like patches and updates and expansions would change everything in the game. Like the moment the game came out, it was just like I love having the strategy guide. So
it's just nice it's just nice having that to like read through. Even if you're not even using it, you're just like looking at all the artwork and the pictures and stuff. Because I had a guide for like Pokemon Emerald or Ruby or Sapphire or something back in the day. I remember like just loving how it looked and just like looking through it all the time. One thing I actually used to do, which is funny, when I used to rent games from Blockbuster like every single week for like years, just because my mom would just do that instead of buying me games. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. So that's why I played a lot of stuff really fast. But whenever I got a game that would come with the booklet,
yep,
like especially Nintendo games, before I return them back, I would take the manuals and keep them all like in my room and never like tell my mom or anything. And we never got in trouble because they don't keep track.
That's awesome.
So I didn't have the games, but I would have like 20 or 30 like just Nintendo GameCube instruction manual books.
That's
I don't
amazing.
have them anymore, but
yeah,
I just like even those little things. How they used to have like a lot of little neat pictures in them before we have
a lot of
stuff.
A lot of NES and Super NES game, like that's how you got the story. Was like the instruction manual had the story and
the main character's name and stuff.
Yeah,
in there, the NES and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've actually been going through my Nintendo 64 stuff in the basement because like everything after the flood, I just needed to like double check everything, like make sure everything's like okay, whatever. There's almost all of my Nintendo 64 games are complete in box with instruction manuals, and I have guides for almost all of them. And I was just like, man, this is so fun just to like line them all up and be like, I used to do this for fun when I was a child. Now I just do it because I can, because I'm an adult.
You guys got me so nostalgic about freaking strategy guides and stuff that I had to grab these off of my bookshelf. My two all-time favorite strategy guides, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, looks so good.
Oh yeah.
And Advanced Wars Dual Strike.
Nice.
My favorite two out of all the strategy guides I've ever had, and I've had some good ones. Are
those like official? Like are those from like Nintendo, right?
The Advanced Wars Dual Strike one is from Nintendo Power, and the Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions is from Brady Games.
Oh, Brady. Yeah, I forgot about them too.
Yep. Yeah, nice. I mean, I've had some good ones over the years. Like back when Monster Hunter used to have strategy guides that accompanied them. I had a few of those. I've got Mass Effect Andromeda over there, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Front Mission 3.
Impressive.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is over there too. Like the collector's
edition. The hardback one.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah,
not for sale.
After like during the PS2 era is when I really started like. I wouldn't buy anything that was paperback if there was one available on hardback. Like I would just buy the hardback one. Cause,
Yeah, I'd spend that extra $20.
If you remember, Brady Games used to put like it was still a paperback one with a paperback art book in this cardboard foldable like collectible thing. I might have some over here, but like I used to get those just for the art book. Like the art books were amazing in those things. Hold on, I'm gonna go see if I can find one. This is great audio.
And tell. Show and tell.
I don't have any anymore. Too sad.
What I get now are like accompanying books. Like for example, like the last one I got was that you guys have seen it on my Twitter, that big ass Monster Hunter World book. That's my kink now. When it comes to gaming collectibles, I finally got out of spending like exorbitant amounts of money for collector's editions of games. Like I like now I'm like, you know what, just get a good ass book that accompanies the game, and that's all I need.
Yeah, I agree.
I see a Kingdom Hearts book.
Yeah.
That looks like the Kingdom Hearts 3 one.
Excited.
No, not the 3 one. I'm sorry. That might be the Kingdom Hearts 2 one, but I could have sworn the one I have is black.
Sorry, my son is like screaming, so I'm trying to keep myself muted as much as possible. But
is that Cage?
Yeah,
is that Cage 2?
It's Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that is the one.
You open it,
beautiful,
right? You open it. It has.
Ooh.
There was 5 different covers for this, one for each of Sora's alternate forms. And this was like the hardest one to find, and all my friends were trying to trade me. I was like, no, jerks. And then it has an art book, which is just like has all the characters in it, and like gives little backstories on all the characters and what movie or game they're from, and like super.
Wait, Corey,
cool.
wasn't that the $50 one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably got the black, like the.
I got the black one. The black one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, for their 20th anniversary, they better like re-release or reprint some of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, is that what is that?
This Final Fantasy 12.
12. Okay, I was about to say 13.
They had like a different character on each. There's probably like 5 or 6 different covers, and then the art book is just. I mean, look at the cover of this thing.
That's insane.
Oh wait, that's Nomura's artwork.
Yeah, and then it's just like,
Woo!
you know, like obviously like all kinds of fun things in here, like art, like airship designs and stuff. It's so cool.
I need to start buying more of these things.
I really need to seriously play Final Fantasy 12. That might be what I. That might be what I play on vacation.
Also,
that's a game I never was able to finish.
I was never able to finish.
What do I see?
It's not a collector's edition guide, but this is my Ocarina of Time strategy guide that I used after the, you know, I told that story last week of how awful I am at, you know, because like Ocarina. So Greysun, I don't know if you heard this story or not yet, but no. Ocarina of Time was my first like real Zelda experience. I had Link's Awakening, but like Ocarina of Time was like my first real Zelda experience. And when I got to the Shadow Temple as an adult, I didn't know you could go back in time. In Ocarina of Time, I didn't know.
It's been so long since I played it. I probably would get stuck too. I'm not even.
Yeah.
That game's hard.
Like I didn't know you could go back in time to become a kid again. So I quit playing the game for like a year. And then I played Majora's Mask, and I bought Majora's Mask, the guide to Majora's Mask, and this guide all in one go. And I like look at this. Look at this.
It looks so small though. Does that have like a guide for everything?
Look at this.
The whole game?
Look at this.
Oh, it's torn apart.
Yeah, it's shredded because I used it. And it's just like it was taped at one point. I think there's pages missing, like, but I just wanted to have a big show and tell about my Ocarina of Time guide because again, games make me feel dumb. So
nostalgia.
I got one more for you. Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap.
Nice.
Because inside this one, there's a poster that's the entire map of Hyrule. I've never taken it out because I was like, no, I'm not ruining this book just to see this map.
man.
Wow. Sorry
And-
for anyone that's like just listening, because you guys are
Oh.
missing out on some really awesome looking things.
Just all of
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
Ah,
ooh, look at this.
shrieking. Ah!
So
I gotta go back. I gotta go back and beat this game. I haven't. I never beat Minish Cap, and it's one of my. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorites.
That's a game I want to come to the Switch because I don't have a Game Boy Advance, and
I-
I want
Yeah.
to finish Cap.
I'm telling you, Nintendo would get so much money from me.
The Oracle games too. I never played any of the Capcom.
Yeah.
I never beat them at least. Capcom games.
That
Alright,
book,
Corey, what you got?
that book is mangled. What is that?
this is
Oh,
my
Pokemon.
original Pokemon Red and Blue strategy guide.
What? Oh my
And
gosh! The
Look
OG.
how trashed it is. Like, it's just. This was before the era where I really cared about taking care of stuff.
Yeah.
I've still got one of the original Final Fantasy VII strategy guides. One of the first ones. Well, I want to say it was one of the first ones Brady did.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hold on, I think I have it
it's in a
too.
box-
Hold on.
It's in a box somewhere. It's in a box somewhere.
I love how this is just becoming show and tell
I know.
for Corey over here.
This is why you catch us live Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/Boss Network.
This definitely
ruin
wants me to
everything
get
that I
back into
have.
buying guides.
I don't buy guides as much anymore. Like it has to be a hardcore guide for me now to buy one. Oh, he's got Final Fantasy X. He couldn't find 7, but he found 10.
Ooh, that's huge. Is it just one book?
Yeah, it's one book.
Oh.
All right, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, but like, I think my Final Fantasy
it's
VII
multiple.
one.
He bought a
downstairs.
bunch of books. Okay.
Okay.
But
Oh, he's got
I got my
Wow.
original Final
He's
Fantasy X guide,
There's 9
9? Ooh.
9 and 8.
and 8.
Look
Wow.
at that.
Impressive.
I have 7 and the other, like the collection ones, like the anthology and chronicles ones somewhere.
See, Corey, like you can brag about you having those original books, but I had the original PS1 discs of all the.
So do I. They're downstairs.
all right, you're not special.
You're not special.
Just a lot of discs for like those two
non-greatest
games.
hits. Non-greatest hits.
I have Black Label versions of these games as well.
All right. New topic. We're done here.
You will not outdo me, LeRon. Somewhere you will, but not this.
It's my job. I'm the PlayStation host.
I know.
It's my job.
The thing is I don't even care about any of these PlayStation games because I'm not a PlayStation guy. But
You love those books though, and I can't
do.
fault you for loving them. I can't.
I do. It's
God,
great.
there's real nostalgia. Like even if you've never played the game, sometimes there's real nostalgia. Like just seeing those books.
I mean, you go through here and you like look at the character like art that they use is like sometimes it's from the PC version, sometimes it's from the PlayStation version,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's like super pixelated and stuff. And it's like, man, this was before like Photoshop and stuff was a thing, and like they had to like either print these out and cut them out and lay them out on some thing and then put them through this giant scanner and print all this crap. Man, thank God for the technology. We don't have to do that anymore. So, speaking of, I had a topic. We are running along. Do we want to do my topic real quick? We'll do it. We'll just make it
We can do
fast.
quick, yeah.
We'll make it quick.
Fast.
So, this plays off also of my I love Metroid Dread until I get lost and then I hate myself. So the topic is, are there any genres of games that you wish you liked more than you do because you like the idea of it, but then you go to play it and you just can't do it? So for me, it'd be like, besides the Metroidvanias, because, well, stealth games, I think, are a genre that I really, really, really want to like a lot. Because I like the idea of like sneaking around and setting traps and like murdering people, essentially. But then I go to play them and I'm just not patient enough, or I just don't want to do it. Like Hitman is like a game that I love to watch people play, but I can't play it because I'm too impatient.
Yeah, you took my answer. You took my answer. Stealth games, because there's just sometimes I just want to brute force a game and just get to the next segment. And let's look at it for what it is. The stealth mechanic is just another way to pad the time spent playing the game. I hate to say it, like it doesn't matter how clever it is, like like Hitman, for example, or Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that. Like it's one of those things that's designed to extend your playtime. It's a cool mechanic, but at the same time, it's if you can brute force your way through Metal Gear Solid 3, for example, which is like one of the best Metal Gear Solid games, I've heard you can beat the game in under 2 hours. You just brute force your way through it.
Let's see. For me,
Yeah.
it'd be roguelikes. As something that I really want to enjoy, especially since Hades came out and everyone just talks up Hades, and I do genuinely believe it's a great game, and I bet you if I eventually play it, maybe I will like it because I heard it's that great of a game. But there's just something about just dying and starting over at the same place and doing it all over again and procedurally generated. Maybe it's another patience thing. I don't know. So, but yeah, it's that genre is very challenging for me.
Here's the magic about Hades. Hades is the one roguelike where dying and starting over doesn't feel like a chore. It's the only one. It's the only one I can vouch for, because I don't like or dislike roguelikes. They have their place as far as games go. But Hades is the one roguelike that, like even when I'm getting my ass kicked, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think I feel like I wasn't really into roguelikes until like Dead Cells and Hades started coming out. And I'm like, okay, so there are games. Dead Cells is incredible, but it's very, very hard. Like I think it's harder than Hades for sure.
Dead Cells.
But I actually finished Hades. Dead Cells I couldn't finish. Like that game is brutal.
Yeah, Dead Cells is one of those games that makes you want to stick your hand in an open blender.
Oh my gosh! What the hell?
It's called a callback to our pre-show.
No, I'm for real. I played the trial version of Dead Cells. I was like, man, I like this game, but God, this game is hard, man. I'd rather play Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the hardest difficulty. And everybody knows that's the one Ghosts and Goblins game that I played that I haven't beaten yet.
For me, I think there's two things that come to mind always for me: MMOs and like Western RPGs. So like I've never been interested in Elder Scrolls or like Fable or like I don't know, like anything just like not Japanese and RPG. I don't know, it just stuff like Skyrim and stuff just never looks that interesting to me, and I just don't like the idea of like having this huge open world and like it's almost like too much to do where I get lost and I'm not really sure of like what's going on. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. Fun story about Skyrim. I played the beginning of that game 3 times and never figure out how to escape the dragon. So another game that made me feel real dumb.
Yeah, I just prefer like single player linear stuff. There's stuff like Breath of the Wild, that I adore, but there's always that one. There's always that one though, right? Where like, I hate this genre, but yeah, that one got me. I'm trying to think of like a Western RPG that I really enjoyed, but I can't even think of one right now. But I'm sure there's one. But MMOs, I just like Final Fantasy 14. I would love to play that game, but it just like, first of all, I can't sign into my account on PlayStation, so I'm literally locked out right now. I can't play. I don't have like a PC to play it on. But it's just like I don't like usually playing with people. Like Monster Hunter is like the only exceptions I can think of, like Splatoon, things that are just like, I don't know, like just more laid back and more like not so toxic or something. You're like, I don't know. I feel like just overwhelming, I guess. I feel like Monster Hunter. Well, from what little I played of Monster Hunter World, at least, I feel like it's not like a typical Western RPG or like a typical action RPG, right? Because like, it's not like you're leveling up a skill tree or anything. Type of game where you're like, going on a campaign, and going through like these stories, Yeah.
I'm recusing myself from this conversation because I'm so biased about Monster Hunter.
No, like Monster Hunter is something that I would really love to get into at some point. I know.
It's
Shut
hard.
up, LeRon.
It's hard to get into. It is unless you have like people shepherding you, like
I know.
and teaching
Which
you things. That's how I learned.
I've volunteered.
To be fair, LeRon even offered to buy me the game so he would have someone to play with.
A DLC's coming. You can jump in.
I know.
No, I'm getting the PC version, so Corey's gonna have to follow me there.
No, those PC games.
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah, MMO like Final Fantasy 14. Like it looks. I love Final Fantasy, but like I look at a picture of someone battling and the UI, and I'm like, I cannot. Like, it's just too much, and my brain can't handle it. Like I like game menus that look like Breath of the Wild and like Pokemon and stuff that are very simple and streamlined and like Final Fantasy, modern Final Fantasy game menus I like too. But like something about MMOs and stuff like that, like it's just overwhelming. It's too much. Like so many systems thrown at you, and it's like I don't know if I can put so much time into that to really enjoy it. So I just I usually just stay away from those type of games. I also don't like the idea of paying for a subscription for a game. I just don't think I would, unless it's a game I play all the time. But yeah,
it's like some of my friends wanted to get into Destiny. I'm like, man, you are picking the worst time to get into Destiny right now, because like that's like MMO, like you said, like MMOs are just like way out there. I'm like, I don't have the time, I don't have the patience to learn all these systems, but Destiny is like the one game, and it's technically not even an MMO still. It's like I don't know. It's just like, I think the fact that it's an MMO covered up in first-person shooter mechanics makes it a lot easier for me to swallow. But like, man, people are like, hey, can I get into Destiny now? I'm like, man, the way like there's so much to catch up on, and like stuff you need to know is like they've taken big chunks of the game out so they can make the game file smaller, and like they're about to remove another really important chunk of the story that you need to know. It's just like, I feel like the longer games go on, the harder it is to get into as well. And like, Destiny has really reached that point to where like they've really angled their business model at people who play the game all the time, and it's like a lifestyle game for them now instead of just like something you pick up once or twice a week. And like, I host a Destiny podcast, and I'm still lost in that game. It's just like there's so much to keep up with, and that's also something that kind of like pushes me away from certain games too. Is like, man, if I have to keep up with this all the time, it's tough.
It can be intimidating, especially like 14. It's like you have the Endwalker expansion is coming out like this year, and it's like, okay, if I want to play for the first time, what do I have to do? It's like, oh, you just have to get through these 4 expansions. And like, okay, but it's like, do I have to? It's like, yeah, or you can pay more to like skip some stuff. And it's like, well, then I feel like I'm just, what's the point? It's it's weird to me, like missing out on stuff.
Especially with a franchise.
That's why I like single player stuff.
Yeah, especially with a franchise like Final Fantasy that's so dependent on the story that they're telling. Like you don't want to skip story to like catch up. Although
People
I did
say
hear
it's the best Final Fantasy story too.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
and
I've heard that too.
How do I experience this and not spend 400 hours wasting grinding away?
All right.
Games.
That was a nice quick topic. Good job, guys.
I like that.
Unlike my topic last week that I said was going to be fast and ended up being our longest topic, LeRon.
You never know.
Well, we're going to wrap the show. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. Greysun, thank you for your time tonight. Really appreciate
Thank you, Greysun.
Yeah,
saving the show,
guys.
we'll say.
I love being on.
Yeah,
I'm always happy to be on.
You're welcome back anytime, obviously.
Thank you.
We love having you on anything. So you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Greysun Morales, and then if you want to check out my articles, you can go to GameRant.com. We've been doing a lot of cool stuff lately, and got a lot of stuff coming for Pokemon and Call of Duty and stuff, so make sure to check us out.
Cool. Stephanie, where can we find you?
On Twitter at Klimov, KLIMOV_author, and check out my articles on bossrush.net, amongst other amazing articles from other folk on the writing team.
LeRon?
All right. As usual, you can find me on all sorts of outlets and whatnots at Exodus 803, EXODUS 803. So just remember social media, Twitch, YouTube, game systems. There we go. Platforms. There we go.
Wow. Video games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't forget Tuesday nights 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Crossroads PlayStation Podcast with myself, Austin Campbell, Nelly Lott, and Chris True. And yeah, that's pretty much everything.
And Dead Space.
Oh yeah, and my Dead Space stream, which probably won't see any of that this weekend because I will be on vacation this weekend. I'll be away from my computer and my PlayStation and a whole bunch of stuff. We'll have my Switch with me, but no streaming on that.
Well, you can find me at IamCoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting this show, Arsenal X the Xbox podcast. You can find me on Nintendo Pal Block most Mondays as well with Ed and crew. You can find all of our content on bossrush.net. I have a few things that I'm writing, actually, because now that I have time, I can do that sort of thing.
Woohoo!
So, very excited. So, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. And until next week, we love you.
Night.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.